Would you like more coffee?
You know, Miss Standish, I sure would have liked to have known the commissioner in those days. I mean, I bet he was really something.
There's some information, Sergeant, that never gets declassified.
Yeah, I guess not. But I sure would have liked to have known him in those days. Not that it isn't a privilege to know him now, but I sure would have liked to have known him. Excuse me, do you mind if I try to catch 30, 40 winks before we land?
Oh, please do. I'm a little tired myself.
Sir, you'll have to deplane now.
Oh. Where's the lady who was seated next to me?
Everybody else deplaned 10 minutes ago.
Oh, listen, how could I have... coffee? Who served me coffee?
I must have wine.
No, I didn't see the face, but her fingers were longer and she had dark nail polish.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
Of course you're not mistaken. The question is, where have they taken her?
They? Venice or Erickson?
Erickson. If it was Venice, you'd be dead. Where's the boss, Rita?
Boss? I'm the boss. My name's Betty Jane Morrison. You want to see some ID?
Commissioner McMillan's office.
Sergeant Enright, I want you to send a detail over to the Panama Club in North Beach. I want this place padlocked.
What?
The liquor license does not reveal the name of the true owner.
Commissioner, is this you?
And call the press room. Send some people over. I got a big story for them.
Forget it, Mike.
Forget it, Emily. Where is she, Mark?
She's one of ours, Mac. We're responsible for her security.
You
as
want
a
me
matter
to
of
arrest
law.
you?
On what?
Obstructing a criminal investigation. No, you don't want me to arrest you, so you're going to tell me where she is.
Let's talk a deal.
No deal. I want full cooperation between your people and my police department.
Well, that's a deal, isn't it? Okay, the Regency. When do you want to see her?
In about an hour.
All right, I'll be there to let you in. Now, look, I'm still in charge of security, or all bets are off.
I rushed these photos over from the lab as soon as possible, sir. They're pictures that Ruth Habib took at the carnival.
Thank you.
I'm truly sorry about losing Miss Standish on that airplane, sir.
Charlie, I allowed the excuse of drugged coffee on an airplane just once.
Thank you. Here's George Marion, sir.
You saw him at the staging area.
Right.
Mr. Mustache? Do you know him?
Yes.
Who is he?
I don't know. I'm gonna meet Elena. Run a check on this photo.
Right.
Mrs. McMillan, I have 3 weapons, and I can kill you in less than a second without using any one of them. Now, I'm going to let you go. Don't scream. Where is he?
My husband? Well, he's at the office, I guess.
He's gone out. Where? Come on, he's wherever they're holding Elena Standish, isn't that right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I suppose so. He didn't tell me where that was. He doesn't tell me his business problems. I guess he thinks I'm not interested. Isn't it just like a man?
You're telling the truth, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I am interested in his business.
I mean, you really don't know where he is. But you will soon. I'll bet he calls you every afternoon. It'd be crazy not to. I'll wait.
Isn't this a rather unusual place to hide somebody?
Well, the police schools recommend the out-of-the-way flea bag, but that's baloney. Give me a class place every time. A hitman sticks out like a midget at a football banquet. I've got her in a corner room. I've got a man walking the hall. There's 2 walls to the outside, 1 to the hallway, and 1 to the room next door.
Yours.
Of course.
Well, it's only fair to warn you. My housekeeper has a violent temper, and there's no telling what she'll do when she comes in and finds you here.
Your housekeeper's on vacation this week.
Yes, that's right. She's at her sister's. She always goes to her sister's when she's on the wagon. You see, her sister doesn't allow a drop of liquor in the house. That's the danger. That's what I'm trying to warn you about. There's no one more violent than Mildred when she's on the wagon. I suppose that doesn't scare you very much.
It's an animal wagon. Identical to the real thing as far as size, shape, floor drain, and even the smell. We cleared it with Habib, had it repainted to match his equipment. Nobody will give it a second glance. Now, there is one modification. But this window, you'll be able to see everybody through it, but nobody will be able to see you. It's a window from the inside and a mirror from the outside. And it's even bulletproof.
I don't know, Mac. Venice is a genius at disguise, and I haven't seen him for years.
You may not be able to recognize him, but still you might be able to help by simple process of elimination.
I suppose since Mark went to so much trouble to kidnap me, we're going to have to make it count for something, huh?
Would you like a drink? A glass of water? A sandwich? How about a game of 20 questions?
How about a little quiet?
Right. A little quiet.
It's a good plan, Mac. She's never left the organization.
But?
Yeah, but. Has it occurred to you that we might be looking for somebody who doesn't exist? Suppose Venice is dead.
Then who killed Marion?
Maybe. Just maybe. Marion killed Marion. All right? So Venice isn't buried where he's supposed to be. Well, there have been phony graves before, but that doesn't prove that somebody's alive. But Marion wanted the satisfaction of taking Venice. Now, when he found out there was no Venice...
No.
Prussic acid is a suicide's weapon.
What about the man on the balcony?
Ordinary sneak thief. He came in, saw the body, ducked out when you came in.
Then why the message with the Venetian blind? He was trying to tell us it was Venice.
Mac is right, Mark. When Marion spoke to me, he was not despondent or unhappy or in despair. He was just certain.
Sure. But when his certainty went wrong, then for him, everything was wrong.
Mark, the Venetian blind.
I've been thinking about that. Now, you know that Marion was always a joker, always the life of the party. But maybe he wasn't playing with a full deck. Now, if he killed himself because he found out that he was wrong, It'd be just like him to go out with a joke that'd convince us he was right, just to keep us puzzling for years.
I say we go on looking till we know, one way or the other.
Okay, when do we go snooping?
I think it should just be Elaine and me.
Just like old times.
And Sergeant Enright. He'll ride shotgun.
Mac, I can't give up my responsibility.
You're responsible here. I'll be responsible there. Let's not scare Venice off with a platoon of agents.
All right.
I'll pick you up at 6. Thought I'd get us to the carnival about 7. Doesn't give us much time. May I use your phone?
Be my guest.
Wait.
Hello?
Hi, honey.
Oh, Mac, I'm so glad you called. You didn't forget about Mildred's graduation tonight, did you?
Huh?
From her cooking class. Tomato and olive aspic.
Well, I don't think so. I'm with...
Oh, Mac, Mildred will be heartbroken.
I'm with...
Well, you'll just have to do the best you can.
Okay. There's an outside chance.
Good.
Well?
Well, what?
Well, I'm no mind reader. Where is it?
Oh. Oh, it's at the Epicure Club.
Oh, terrific. I'm at the Regency right across the street. Be right with you. I gotta go. Goodbye.
I love you too, darling. Goodbye. That wasn't fair. He only told me where he was because I happened to mention the name of that place across the street.
Lady, I'm in a hurry and I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah. You haven't heard the secret. And you admit, I don't want to put you in any extra trouble.
Father Regan?
Commissioner, what a pleasant surprise.
Is it?
Is it what?
Either one. Pleasant or a surprise. What are you doing here?
Well, I don't know that I'm required to account for.
Not required, Father, but it would help.
I've been with the banquet manager, Mr. Kelso, about a benefit dinner for St. Barnaby's. The carnival people have generously offered to furnish the entertainment.
How long has this been planned?
Oh, all very last minute. I'm not the best organized man in the world. By the way, how's your investigation? Do you still believe your friend Mr. Marion was murdered?
Do you believe otherwise?
Well, it occurred to me that perhaps Mr. Marion found the man he was looking for.
And didn't turn him in?
Is it possible that he found his man and killed him?
It's possible. And then what?
The joys of vengeance are almost solely those of anticipation. Afterwards?
Suicide? Father, no offense, but I've had a law enforcement man tell me Marion may have killed himself because he didn't find Venice. Now you're trying to tell me that he killed himself because he did find him. Now, I'm not looking for a suicide motive. I'm looking for a murderer.
Oh, operator, please dial the Regency Hotel for me.
The what?
The Regency Hotel.
That number can be reached by direct dialing.
Yes, I know, but I can't dial and tie up.
We're all very busy. But if you wish me to dial for you, very well.
Thank you.
What is the number, madam?
I don't know the number.
The number can be obtained from your telephone directory.
Yes, I know, but I can't reach my telephone directory.
If you are in need of additional directories, your
Operator, will you give me information?
furnish you. Directory assistance, dial 411.
I can't dial 411. I can't dial anything. You will have to dial.
Do I understand, madam, that you wish me to dial 411 for you?
Mrs. McMillan! You must be seeing things. Here, I thought I was sober. Call the Regency Hotel. What? Call the Regency Hotel.
First, I want to call the police.
No, call the Regency Hotel. Mac is there with Elena Standish.
You're right. This is no matter for the police. We'll handle this in our own way.
Yes, Father Regan's function. The citrate segments, top sirloin of beef.
How long has this been planned?
It started just this morning. Frankly, I'm against it. The thought of all those carnival types dribbling sawdust through our lobby. They never learn to
Hey,
like
that's
their
for
shoe.
me.
If you don't mind, the house phone's over there. I'm expecting a phone call from a wedding party. Chicken Veronique, risole potatoes, peas au gratin, and chocolate chip ice cream. Chocolate chip.
Hi, Sally. Of course I knew it was you. What?
Mac, it's Elena. She's been stabbed.
I'll call you right back. You're sure you're all right? Okay. She alive?
It's a nasty wound, half-inch deep, I'd say.
I told you I was going on the wagon. When I come home and find you like this, I wonder if it's worth it. Boy, I could use a drink.
No, Mildred, you've gone 4 straight days without a drink, haven't you?
I've been at my sister's 4 straight days, haven't I? And straight is the word, believe me.
4 days. That must be some sort of a record for you. I thought you said you were going to be gone all week. How come you came back? Couldn't you take it?
Oh, listen, I had to get out of there. It wasn't the drinking. I mean, I was doing fine. But I couldn't listen to my sister sober. You know, it's funny. When I was drinking, I always thought she was so amusing. She sounded just like me.
She didn't sound like you this time?
No, that was the depressing part. She still sounded exactly like me. Only nothing she said was funny.
Lucky. I just missed the rib cage, the lungs. An inch to either side, a little deeper. You understand, a wound of this sort, I must report.
You just did. I'm Commissioner McMillan.
Of course. Look, she's quite all right, but I'd recommend against any strenuous activity.
We'll take good care of her. And, Doctor, I'd appreciate it if you didn't report this to anyone else.
Can't wait. Bye.
Elena?
How do you feel?
Weak, but lucky.
How did it happen?
Well, I was next door, and she was dressing, and I heard a thud and a moan. When I got in here, she was on the floor, next to the window on her side. That was in her back. Now, you may want your guys to check prints on that.
Yeah.
She said that while she was dressing, she saw something.
Let me.
No, you're supposed to.
No, I can tell you. While I was dressing, something flew past the window and dropped. Like a body, or as though someone had jumped or fallen from above. So I did what anybody would do. Any fool. I went to the window and I looked out. Now, I must have heard that knife coming, because I remember turning, and then I think I passed out.
We got her on the bed, and then I called the doctor. Then I had the sidewalk checked below. Nothing. Now, if something like a hotel pillow was thrown from up above, a passerby must have walked off with it.
What about the rooms above?
Well, the room directly above is occupied by a salesman from Cleveland, but he appears clean. He was out.
And further up?
There is another floor, but it was vacant. There doesn't seem to have been anybody in there.
But it must have come from one of those rooms.
Well, it doesn't prove that someone didn't go in, does it?
Well, the guy that planned this is not going to leave any souvenirs.
That's what I mean.
The carnival.
Now, we can take care of that in a day or two.
No, tonight. Don't you see? He doesn't know whether he's killed me or not. That gives us the advantage. Mark, may I have a moment alone with Mac? Sit down, Mac. Sally told you, didn't she?
What?
That Venice and I... That there had once been something between us.
Oh, and how could she know a thing like that?
I could tell by the way she looked at me. She's a woman, Mac. Women sense these things. And I'm a woman, too, and I know that she knew. She did tell you.
Well, she may have told me a little. I didn't believe her.
Ah, that's a mistake, Mac. You should always believe her. I loved him. God help me, I held him in my arms and I loved him. But it doesn't matter. When George Marion came to ask me for help, I wanted to help him. I knew I should want to help him.
You did help.
Yes. But part of me wanted Venice to escape. She told you that too, didn't she? When is it over, Mac? When does somebody stop loving somebody?
I think when he tries to kill you.
Dear Mac. Cool and clear-sighted as always. Then try to understand that it must be tonight. While I still hate him. Tonight, Mac, please. Thank you.
Now just watch and relax. If you see anyone that interests you, speak up.
Does that apply only to spies?
What about them? Habib, he owns the carnival. The photographer is his daughter.
The father? It's hard to say. A little bit old, but that would be easy enough to do. There's something about the cheekbones.
That will make him impossible.
Haven't you checked out the backgrounds of the people who work here?
As far as we were able. Naturally, Venice would assume the identity of somebody who had to be clean. Kill and impersonate. Let's just concentrate on the physical types. The man with the cape, Kovacs.
I don't think so.
Are you sure? He does a human fly act, probably capable of scaling a hotel wall.
I really don't think so. The hands are different. Smaller.
Scratch Kovacs. What about the man with the sunglasses?
Impossible. Too much jaw.
Scratch sunglasses. What about her, Madame Olga?
A woman?
She's advertised as one.
Well, her records.
We don't know they're really hers. Didn't you say Venice escaped to England, disguised as a woman?
Not that one.
Scratch the madam. What about them? The one on the left is Aldo, a knife thrower.
No, I think he's too small. And the shoulders, they... Who's that? The man on the right.
I don't know. Yes, I do. It's, Harper. He runs a Ferris wheel.
You see, he's just the right shape. And his head. But the walk is all wrong. There was more spring to Venice's step.
Oh, a man can change his walk.
But why would he, unless he knew he were being observed?
Yes?
Sykes here, Commissioner. I found something extremely important that I think you should see.
Can it wait?
No, sir, we can't wait. Well, as you always say, you never know when one clue scientifically advanced may be the one clue that will get the job done, as it were. This is it, Commissioner.
All right, I'll be there. My lab man leaves nothing to chance.
Good. Venice leaves nothing to chance either.
I'll be at this number. Lock the door behind me. If you need Sergeant Enright, knock on that wall. And make sure he identifies himself.
Mac, you're bothering me.
I am. I'm sorry.
I haven't lived this long allowing strangers into rooms with no exits.
I assume you won't mind if I worry a little.
No, that'd be good for you.
Oh, please, Mrs. McMillan. You're forgetting my condition. Sober.
Sorry, Mildred. Why doesn't Mac call? Where is he?
Well, since we're asking questions, why don't we start with the big one? Who's he with?
Elena Standish.
Oh, yeah, the former spy. Swell.
He's worried about her. He thinks her life could be in danger.
And you?
I'm worried about Mac.
Good thinking.
Who's the man with a mustache? What does he want? I'm sure that he's following Mac and Elena right now.
Well, I certainly hope so. It's better than being alone together, isn't it?
Mildred.
This is what I raced all the way over here to see? I thought you said you cracked the case.
Actually, the crack is here, sir, in the handle of the knife. This is a Syrian camel skinning knife, possibly Iranian. There's an extensive literature on knives, which I've studied them all.
Sykes.
So, would you mind looking at this, please? You will observe that the lead collar in the curved handle visibly cracked. A hairline fracture, you might say. True, nevertheless. How do you suppose that happened?
Probably stepped on by an overweight dromedary.
Oh, hardly, sir. I would have been able to detect some part of the animal's hoof. Is the commissioner joking?
The commissioner is not sure. What about the pills?
Oh, I have just finished testing the pills.
Good. What'd you find?
Each contains 27 grams of cellulose, 4.2 gram essence of...
Poison?
No, sir. No poison at all.
Do you mean to say that you called me all the way down here just to show me a crack in a knife?
Well, it's a recent crack and irregularity on the murder weapon. Think of it, sir. Police lab, cite him. Yes. It's for you, sir.
Yes?
Mac, the Ferris wheel man, Harper,
What about him?
he just went by again and he's walking differently. More bounce, springy.
Where'd he go?
Well, that's the funny thing. The Ferris wheel is closed, but he went over to it, and I haven't seen him leave. Should I send the sergeant over to look?
No, that would leave you alone. I'll be right over. Miles.
Hold on, Commissioner! I saw the wheel stop and go, and I thought it was you.
Elena.
Open up!
Are you all right? Was there something by the Ferris wheel?
A dead man. I got my first good look at him. It's Miles Eisner.
But Miles was killed years ago. I mean, we saw.
We thought we saw.
You mean he's been alive all these years and nobody knew?
One person knew.
Maybe I was wrong, but it was necessary. Everybody assumed that Eisner was dead, and that gave me an agent who could work black. The only people who knew that Eisner was alive were Eisner and me. I was his control.
And you couldn't trust me enough?
I don't operate on trust. I operate on need
And
to
it didn't
know.
bother you all these
Of course
years?
it bothered me.
Well, not enough to tell me. I have a need to know now.
Eisner found out that Marion was going after Venice, and he was furious, wild with rage. It should have been his assignment. One unknown hunting another. He begged me to take Marion off the job and give it to him. When I refused, he disappeared.
What?
That's right. He broke away from me. I think Eisner followed Marion, thinking Marion would lead him to Venice, and then he could finish off Venice without worrying too much about technicalities.
Because he didn't exist, officially.
When Marion was killed, Miles latched onto you. He must have thought you were getting close.
I wasn't.
You didn't think so. Eisner did. It looks like he was right, doesn't it? You were close.
I get it. Eisner was the man with the mustache. Only you didn't figure it out because he...
Because he lost his hair and grew a mustache.
Right.
And besides, I didn't get a good look at him. Why did George Marion die in a chair?
You'll figure it out, darling.
I'll figure what out? Assume Venice tried to kill me. Why? Because he thinks Marion told me something? Because I brought Elena here? Something that happened in the carnival? Why did Marion die in a chair?
Going around in circles.
Any questions? Problem is which one to work on first.
Pick one. Flip a coin. Leave it to chance.
My lad leaves nothing to chance.
Good. Venice leaves nothing to chance either.
Observe the lead core of the curved handle.
Venice leaves nothing to chance.
Mac.
Neither did George Marion.
What are you mumbling about? The last thing I said was flip a coin.
Yes, you did. And I love you. Call Sergeant Enright. Tell him to pick up Aldo, the knife thrower, and bring him to Elena's room quickly as possible. And get the knife from Sykes and bring it along with him. And thanks.
Anytime. Why did George Marion die in a chair?
Nobody can say that
Just walk right in.
Wherever they go.
I mean, this joker just walks in and says,
Hey,
they're
I'm
people.
getting you straight.
No, they have rights.
They
have rights.
Quiet!
It's all.
I just wanted to talk to Aldo.
What do you have against him? That he's a knife thrower?
I have nothing against him.
Aldo is not a suspect?
No, I need his expertise. There are no fingerprints on this knife, so we can handle it. Can you throw this knife?
If it's a knife, I can throw it.
Accurately.
It's a very old knife. Made for skinning, I would say, not throwing. Curved handle. Lead-filled, I would say. But it could be thrown accurately. I mean, I could hit a target with it. But the curve and the weight could cause the knife to flip over in flight.
Could you control it?
With practice, I could make this knife land point first almost all the time. Say 8 out of 10 throws.
Not good enough.
But I was hit by it. I didn't imagine this wound in my back.
Your wound is real enough. Nevertheless, the knife was not thrown.
What do you mean it wasn't thrown? It had to be thrown. She was alone in the room. Are you saying that somebody got through my security and then walked out again? Are you saying I did it?
If anybody threw the knife, it was Venice. But nobody could be sure the knife would land point first. As Elena reminded me, Venice leaves nothing to chance. Venice did not throw the knife. The knife was not thrown.
Then how did Elena get that?
The attack on Elena came rather late in the game. Let's back up a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. Sergeant.
Sir?
You up to a little role playing?
Anything you say, sir.
Right. Your name is George Marion. You are alone in your room with the Sands Inn. You've just swallowed prussic acid, but you don't know it yet. You take it in a capsule. When you feel it, you'll know what it is. You feel it. You now have 30 seconds left to live. You now realize a spy named Venice poisoned you, and you know who Venice is because you know who had access to your capsules. You grab for a pen on the table. But it won't write. Your friend McMILLAN is due any minute. So how can you get a message to him that'll implicate Venice?
Venice. Venice. Venetian blind.
Very good. Now, take a look at this. You fell on the floor, but Marion's body is sitting in a chair.
Well, I did exactly what you told me.
And you were perfect.
So Marion is seated in a chair, and the Venetian blind is on end.
Not only that, but his body is braced up against it, so it'll stay that way. Now, why go to all that trouble if the message was Venice did it?
That wasn't the message.
Not all of it. The Venetian blind represents Venice. And it was on end. Upright.
Venice is upright?
Pretty close. Mark, it works in English. But remember that funny fractured German Marion used to use? Venice is on end. Upright. Standing up. Venice is standing.
Venice is standing. Venedig steht.
No, fractured.
Venice standish is. Venice is standish.
That's right. Venice is Elena Standish.
Mac, that's the worst joke since George Marion changed the washroom signs at Russian Secret Intelligence. You are serious?
There never was a Venice. You created him years ago when you became a double agent. When When your missions were betrayed, sold out, you blamed it all on Venice, a man only you had seen.
I don't believe you're saying this. I mean, it's ridiculous. And there's no way to prove it, one way or the other. I mean, you know that.
Your creation of Venice was brilliant. It assured you of perfect retirement with honors. All of your missions were successful except for the few he betrayed, which, of course, nobody would blame on you. So with no further need for him, you let us believe he had died. Unfortunately, Marion discovered the corpse was a phony and set out after Venice. You couldn't let that go on, could you?
Why not? What could he find? He was looking for a man who didn't exist.
Marion was a skillful agent. If he'd looked long enough, he'd realize he was looking for a... What was it he used to say?
A tall, short...
Yeah. No, a tall, thin, short, fat, bald man with curly hair. Marion used to say that if you start looking for him, you better give a hard look at the people giving the description. He'd have figured it out. He'd have reached that point.
So I killed George Marion. He died in San Francisco while I was in Taos, but I killed him? How? Oh, I know. I flew in on my broomstick and I told him that the pills were candy.
When you found out he was after Venice, you knew you'd have to kill him. So when he came to your place, your dog set him to coughing and sneezing, and he had to take one of his pills, and it all fell into place for you. You got a hold of his capsules and put poison in one of them.
Oh.
Now, wait a minute. She couldn't have known when he'd take it.
All the better. She'd given him a lead to Venice that guaranteed him a tour of every carnival in the country. They all have animals. So he took his pills. And by, he took the one that counted, far away from her.
And the suspects would be carnival people?
Of course.
You're not taking this seriously, are you?
How did she get the knife in her back?
Oh, I'm surprised at you. I thought every intelligent man knew that trick. Incidentally, this is the part that cracked the knife handle. Now, this part takes real guts. She backed into this, released the door, and walked to the window with a knife in her back. Something like this.
That's quite enough. I want to see everybody's hands at all times. And I do hope I don't have to demonstrate the alternative.
As one professional to another, Elena, you've got the wrong hostage. I mean, if I were escaping, I'd take with me a high police official. He wouldn't scream or get hysterical. And I would, in effect, have the opposition commander under my control.
Are you volunteering? I assume you will be kind enough to call and remove your operatives from the lobby.
Where to, Elena?
Cab to the airport.
Then,
You charter a plane.
to take us where?
You don't have to say where. You're the commissioner. It's an emergency.
That's right. You won't have to name a destination until the plane's in the air. Then where? If you were an agent for a foreign government, probably be a boat waiting for you in some lonely harbor or another plane waiting somewhere. But you've got no homeland to go to. It's only a question of which country will put you in prison for life or which country will execute you.
Keep moving, Mac.
No,
I'll kill you.
you're gonna do that anyway, aren't you? If it isn't here, it'll be someplace else, probably with a lot of people around. At least here, there'll only be one more casualty. remember, once you've killed me, you've got no hostage.
And that leaves Erickson's men free to kill you. Probably before you get out of the lobby.
You knew how all this would end, didn't you? You planned it back. All of it. Getting the people to look at the knife. Giving me the chance to. And you tricked me.
Let's face it, it's over. You're a spy with no cover. You've got nowhere to go. It's all over.
Well, I told you you'd figure it out. There's only one thing that I can't figure out. Usually when you figure it out, I can figure out how you figured it out. Only this time, I can't figure it out.
Okay. What can't you figure out?
Well, Elena killed Eisner. How did Elena kill Eisner? I mean, she was sealed in the animal cart and he was at the Ferris wheel.
Easy. She wasn't sealed in. The world was sealed out. When you're protecting somebody, you guard against break-in, not break-out.
Yes, but Enright would have seen her walk out the door.
That was a real animal cart we used. Had a drain in the floor. All she had to do was lift the grill off, climb out from underneath. She got back in the same way.
I never could have known that.
You know, when we were at her house, she lied to us. I should have had it, but you almost got it.
I did. You mean when she told us about that last meeting with Venice?
A spy never tells another spy when he's retiring.
But I told you that it wasn't spy to spy. I told you that it was man to woman.
Makes it all the more unbelievable. When a man ends a love affair, he doesn't go to all of that trouble to arrange a meeting with the lady. He goes to all that trouble to avoid it.
You know, you're right.